Hi, you're tuned into My Dad Says Audio. If you've been here before, welcome back. If you're new here, welcome. Today we'll be taking a look at my father's Rogers transmission line speakers, recently rebuilt. Dad, what can you tell us about the speakers today?
Okay, I've ended up spending way more time on these than I expected to. If you've been following along, this is the fourth and final video on these. Did the final bit of rewiring and reassembly of these over the last couple of days. And we've just been giving it a bit of a spin using CDs. Not busting the records out today, but just the CDs. You can see they're all back together again at this point. You will have seen that we rebuilt the crossovers from scratch because the original crossovers were sort of beyond being able to be rebuilt. We've been listening to a few CDs, a bit of Jimmy Smith, a bit of Mozart, a bit of Aretha Franklin, a bit of Andras Vollenweider. We haven't listened to the Beach Boys, but a bit of Jeff Beck, Truth, The Prodigy, and a bit of Gorillaz, and a bit of Art Blakey, just to get a bit of a handhold on how they sound. If you've been following along, I wasn't quite sure how to exactly balance out the drivers. I just took a rough punt on how to balance the mid-range and the mid-range driver and the tweeter. And I think I'm very lucky. I seem to have chosen the correct resistor values, which is a little more lower resistance, i.e. a bit more forward than in the original article. Anyway, you've been having a bit of a listen to them. What do you think? I actually think they're scrubbed up really quite well.
Yeah, very live sounding, detailed, good treble, mid bass. Bass is extended and firm and solid.
Yeah, it's got that layered thing too, where you've got one thing playing in front of the other. It does, there's a definite sense of depth that is, it's quite different from my more usual speakers, which are the Visaton No boxes. This is a more conventional, I guess, presentation, you'd say. And the B139 doesn't really disappoint in terms of bass extension. If you get a real low note that comes through really in quite an impressive fashion. And I'd be suggesting, although I've been out of the industry about 20 years now, that these will still keep up with more modern loudspeakers. And I'm more pleased at how they've turned out. There's a lot more work than I was initially anticipating on doing to them, but it's proved to be well worthwhile.
Yeah, no, I've had a look at followed Dad as he's kind of progressed through this project, and he's been pretty thorough. Like completely, all the internal wiring's been upgraded.
You had to change the rear terminals as well.
Change the rear terminals. Every
all the wiring.
Yeah.
Completely rebuilt the crossover.
Yep, every component in the crossover is new.
Yeah, I added a little bit of damping to the front panel round about where the mid-range and tweeter driver is, because that was a little bit resonant. But the boxes are actually the one really strong point on these. For such a large box, it passes the knuckle test quite substantially. It's got bitumized panels, which are sort of a technique that they used to use for BBC monitors. The original design was from 1976. I believe it was Hi-Fi Answers. And consider them. It's interesting because I used to have a pair of Kef concertos. I think the bass out of these is actually better than I ever got out of the concertos. And I think also the treble is noticeably a bit more open than out of the old concertos T27. And yeah, I'm well pleased. I was a bit worried that I was going to have to get in them again and change the resistors for the balance of them. Now I'm going to want to listen a bit more because you know, I'd like to play some records a bit later on, get a vinyl system happening again with this. But I'm quite well pleased with it. You know, I mean, you listen to some tracks there that you're familiar with.
Yeah, well, the Prodigy, I've listened to that since it came out 20 years ago. I'm super familiar. I've heard it on a lot of different systems, and this this is one of the best for sure because it's very bass heavy, and I think in that area this speaker doesn't disappoint.
Yeah, yeah. These actually, I believe, have a bit more bass extension than out of my open baffles. Open baffles, different sort of presentation. They've got strong points as well, but these, I'm quite well pleased as how they've turned out. Yeah, you can see we've been using the Youngson, which has plenty of power for these. I was a bit worried, you know, because they said they're about 85 dB efficiency, which in comparison to my open baffles, which are around about 91, 92 dB, I was thinking, oh, I won't be able to get decent volume levels out of these. But there's no real worry with that. You know,
no, definitely not.
They fill this space up more than adequately.
Yeah, I'd agree. No, they sound excellent. I'd have them.
Yeah.
I wouldn't kick them out of my system.
No.
I couldn't fit them in my room though.
Yeah.
No, big sound.
Well, there'd be room for the speakers. Wouldn't be room for you.
Yeah, I'd be pinned to the wall.
Yeah.
All right, is that pretty much everything?
I think that's it.
All right.
This is the final part 4.
Yeah, no, you've done it, mate. Well done, mate.
Yeah. So
Good job, well done. Sounds great.
That's Chris Rogers' PRO9-TL transmission line loudspeakers, and yeah, well pleased.
All right, guys, that's it for today. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking, commenting, subscribing, and sharing. All right, everybody, until next time, have a good one. Bye.